as we're getting closer to Unpause or Replant, we're piling up appearances or scheduling like spaces and so on. So far we have spaces with Liquidity and Caesar planned, and then we have 2 podcasts with Mission DeFi and Mark Jeffrey. Otherwise, we recently had a Bean Pod with the CTO of Halborn that will go out on Monday. And then once the bit passes, and hopefully we'll have a Q3 budget that will pass, we're going to propose a community grant program, and we expect them to start creating more content around Beanstalk. That's the plan for now.
Great, thank you. And then I should have prefaced this with we'll be doing the DAO update, and then at the tail end of it, then after we do those updates, Silo's going to give a UI update. So definitely stick around for that tail end of it. Austin, do you mind giving an update on what you're covering?
Yeah, sure thing. So hopefully everyone had a chance to read and vote or not vote on BFP 81. Unfortunately, I didn't get to set the scene or share some context for that last week during the DAO meeting, but the goal is always for the proposals to speak for themselves. But yeah, the goal of that one is really to codify to the best extent possible how changes are made to Beanstalk, made to Beanstalk Farms and the committee, Beansprout proposals, etc. And so the point was to make that as comprehensive as possible. So I think voting on that ends in the next couple hours, and I'll be writing some documentation in the Farmers Almanac accordingly, assuming it passes. Otherwise, BIP 21 draft was shared on Monday. That the plan is to propose that tomorrow, and we're also going to put out a blog post about the new functionality and upgrades that are happening to Beanstalk along with it. Let's see what else. Also working on adding a few how-to guides to the Gitbook based on the new site, and then I'll be updating the Gitbook accordingly for all the BIP 21 changes. So probably a couple other things I'm missing, but that's what I've been thinking about at a high level.
Okay, great. Really quick on the NFT front, everyone saw the blog go out yesterday, so we put a blog together, gave more details about what those NFTs will look like, and I think we'll continue to keep you guys apprised. There's a few other attributes that we're working through on the tail end of setting those up, but we're excited to get those live and share those. Mr. Manifold, I know you covered a lot earlier this week with the root announcement, but is there anything quickly that you wanted to give an update on?
Hey, nothing too material that wasn't mentioned earlier this week. We're just kind of head down building at this point. We're looking to roll out a FERT marketplace sooner than later if we can. So, it might not be fully fledged the tech we want to build in the long run, but if it's something we can value add to the Beanstalk community sooner than later, we might divert some resources to do that. So that's one of our focuses, but aside from that, nothing else too material.
Cool. Okay. Sweet Red, do you want to give a design update? I know at the tail end of this that Silo's going to walk through stuff, but if you can give a design update, that'd be great.
Yeah. We're about finished with the new UI. There are, a few style tweaks, and I say that every week because it seems like as soon as we fix them, we find more. So anyway, excited to have Silo Chad walk you guys through the site at the end of this meeting. I think we've come a long way. So yeah, I mostly just quality of life tweaking at this point to from now until the unpause. So
okay, great. Publius, is there any update across the board that you wanted to share? And then after that, I think we're actually ready to hand it over to Silo.
Yeah, just still chugging forward with testing on our point. A lot of testing to do. Things are looking good. Haven't had to make a protocol change in a couple days, which is great. I'm glad to see that it's kind of standing up to testing. We're still not finished testing. We're probably 90% of the way there, and we're going to continue testing throughout all the way up until replant. And just want to make it clear that the testing is not fully done, and there's very likely another bug that might need to be fixed in the upcoming days. And just want that to be clear across the board that the DAO is aware of that and is willing to move forward with the proposal given that. We on our end are comfortable with the state of the protocol, and I've been testing it for a long time, but there's always something else that can be there. Even with 2 audits, Faye had 7 audits, and the protocol broke the first day. So there's always something that can happen unexpected.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the heads up on that. Publius, any other Publius? Is there any updates?
Would add that the white paper draft that went out on Monday, along with BIP 21, there will be some slight edits there. A couple people have pointed out some typos, as well as the convert whitelist is being finished, and then there might be some changes to the glossary to reflect that as well. But otherwise, the white paper is in a near final state. Maybe some other formatting issues, but it's neither here nor there. And otherwise, maybe just to add on to what Publius was saying before, at the end of the day, there is no guarantee that the current contract or code are perfect. And there's 2 separate comments. So one is that over the next week, if there are any other minor issues that can be fixed in the code, a la a convert isn't happening perfectly, or there's a minor rounding issue, minor things like that. I think what Publius was asking for was the approval, the expectation from the DAO, and I think this will be reflected in language in BIP 21, that if there are any other minor fixes to the code that are made in response to bugs found over the next week of testing, that shouldn't delay the replans. And then the second larger comment is that there are, when dealing with code out in the wild like this, there's no guarantee that any of it is secure. And, that's the state of things. So at the micro level, if there are any other minor changes or problems that need to be addressed over the next week, we intend to make them, assuming that they're non-substantive, in a fashion that doesn't delay the replant. And then, I think everyone should just be on the same page about there are risks associated with replanting, and we're all gonna. I think everyone has done a lot from what I've seen. Everyone working on the replant is working very hard to make sure that things are as secure as possible. But it's, I think, if anything, this group is particularly well aware of the risks of dealing with on-chain code. So enough said on that front. Don't mean to be particularly morbid or negative, but it's important that we're all on the same page here. And otherwise, very excited about what the next week to 10 days looks like.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to continue to level set. So I think that's it in terms of updates from the DAO. Silo, does it work for us to hand it over to you?
Yep, that sounds great. Thanks, J-Dubs. And great to see everybody on this call. Excited to kind of show you what we've been working on the last couple months on the website front. I'm going to go a little bit slow because my internet is kind of in and out. So if I get cut off or something, just message me in the Barnyard chat and I'll repeat whatever I said. So with that, let me get my screen shared here. Awesome. Can everybody see this demo screen?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'll just jump in. So a couple notes before we started. This should take like 10 or 15 minutes. Then happy to answer any questions as well. So just wanted to give a shout out to the Beanstalk Farms team. This site is the product of several months of work from a lot of folks, but in particular the folks listed here, sort of working across the the stack. So just wanted to say thanks to everybody who contributed. Please give them a shout out in Discord. The thing I'll show is a test account, and so some numbers will look outdated. If you have any questions about the numbers, just let me know. And then, we're still putting the finishing touches on this site. So if something seems out of place when you pull it up in a week or two, just head to the Farmers Almanac for a tutorial, or message us on the UI feedback channel on Discord. So with that, would love to hop in and welcome you all to the new Beanstalk UI. So just to kind of ground things a little bit before walking through all of this, there's like 3 main goals that we had sort of rethinking the UI over the last few months. The first was to keep the aesthetic that we know farmers know and love, with the the farm background and the styling that Beanstalk has used over the last year, while also making it simple to find things and understand how Beanstalk works. On top of that, we wanted to polish old components and create some new ones to kind of fill in missing functionality, or fill in new features like the farm. So, but I want to show the silo first, but before getting into that, just kind of talking a bit about the high level structure of the site now. So we've got a new nav bar here at the top with pages for each of Beanstalk's core functions, along with this new page called Forecast, which I'll show you in a bit. Throughout the site, you can keep track of the bean price and the season up here in the top left corner with these buttons. And then over here under the wallet button, you'll find links to your balances and transaction history and that sort of thing. So we'll get into those more in a second, but first let's look at the silo. So we've rebuilt the silo page to surface more of the more information about your deposits, your stock holdings, rewards, those sorts of things. Here at the top, you can see this value of your silo deposits over time in a handy graph, along with a breakdown of your stock ownership and percent ownership of the silo. In the rewards bar right here, you can see how many earned beans and earned stock you have, as well as easily claim those. And on the claim page here, you'll find that we've added gas prices on the right side to help you optimize gas costs when you're trying to mow, plant, or do whatever you need to do in the silo. At the bottom here, you'll find the list of whitelisted silo assets, which looks a lot like what we had previously, with some additions to the table, and then these new unripe assets here at the bottom. So I'd love to jump in and show you how the deposit interface actually works. So here's the deposit interface, or I guess the silo interface for the Bean 3 curve token. You'll find basically everything you need to interact with the silo right here on this page. Up here at the top, we've really tried to clarify the life cycle of assets in Beanstalk through these tabs. So deposit, convert, transfer, withdraw, and claim. And transfer, I think, is a new thing that's thanks to the transferable deposits feature that will ship with BIP21. So let's go ahead, I guess, and make a deposit. Over here on the right of this input, you can see that now I can actually select an asset. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. On this list, I can choose from a list of any supported asset that Beanstalk supports in the front end. This has obviously expanded a lot from just being in Ethereum previously to cover a lot of other tokens that we know farmers use pretty frequently. And more will come as we continue expanding this functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and pick ETH here just to kind of walk through things. So when I make an ETH deposit, we've kind of simplified everything that's just happened here. But I just entered 1 ETH. 1 ETH can be exchanged for 1,038 Bean 3 curve. It looks really simple, but under the hood, there's a lot happening with the farm function to actually plan and execute these transactions. So in the example of this 1 ETH transaction, what's actually happening is that Beanstalk is wrapping that ETH to WETH, swapping that WETH for Tether on Curve, swapping the Tether for 3 curve in a different pool, and then depositing that 3 curve as Bean 3 curve into the Bean 3 curve pool. And using Farm, we've basically run that sequence of transactions and kind of estimated it out what you're going to get. And then we'll show you the corresponding Bean3 curve tokens and stock and seeds here. So a lot going on there, and a lot of flexibility that we can now have with the farm function. Right here at the bottom, you can see as always, the change in stock and seeds for doing an action in the silo, and then some helpful tool tips on what exactly is going on. In this case, you can see the BDV that Beanstalk is offering for one Bean3 curve at this time. And this pattern of showing tooltips is something that we will continue to do throughout the site, and you'll see everywhere. In addition, we've overhauled the transaction details module to show exactly what Beanstalk is doing when it's running these transactions. So in this case, swapping the Ether for LP tokens, depositing those LP tokens in the silo, and granting you stock and seeds. So I'll go ahead and just make this deposit. And you'll notice as soon as I make the deposit right here down at the bottom, I've got this table of deposits, aggregate value in the top right, and then a list of everything that I've deposited in the past with tooltips to help you understand the exact mechanics. You can actually see here as well under the stock tooltip that will now show the stock that's accrued since you deposited, along with the base stock that you earned for a given deposit. So kind of a cool new thing. So I would love to show the withdraw and claim process as well. So really quick, I'm going to head over here to withdraw. I know previously these tabs in particular were ones that sometimes were hidden depending on whether or not you had withdrawable or claimable assets, and we've now basically shown them at all times. So anytime you want, you can click on this tab, and if you have withdrawable assets or deposited assets, you can go ahead and withdraw them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just like on the deposit page, I get a breakdown of what's going on and some handy tool tips to show exactly what Beanstalk is doing when I make this change. I'll go ahead and make the withdrawal. The season timer is now 1 season as a part of BIP 21, so you can see that in 1 season we'll get some tokens out of the silo. So I'm going to run up here real fast and actually call Sunrise on my in my terminal. And so this should refresh here in a second. You can see the season's bumped to 6075, and that the assets are now claimable. So if I want to go ahead and claim them, I'm just going to quickly refresh. Head to the claim page and walk you through this. So here on the claim tab, you can see a couple of things. One, I can, I've got this balance of claimable assets here. A new thing is that you can actually claim your assets to one of 2 places. I can either send them to my wallet or to my farm balance, which Beanstalk is capable of using in any of these transactions. So if I deposit to my farm balance and I want to go, or I move this to my farm balance and I want to go deposit later, I can do that. I can even use combinations of assets that are in my wallet and farm balance, for example, if I have both. For now, I'll go ahead and send to my wallet. Here on this button, I can actually choose what I want to withdraw this Bean3 curve LP token as. So I can either keep the token or I can go ahead and unwrap it to another asset, like 3 curve, for example. Let me actually just refresh this real fast. There we go. Cool. And you can see that the farm function has again figured out exactly how much 3 curve I'm going to get when I claim this asset and go ahead and swap it. So I'll go ahead and run the claim, and then we're good to go. I've now got that. I now have that 3 curve. If I come back to deposit, and I just want to show you kind of what that looks like. You can see there's that 1052 3 curve that I just pulled, and if I hover over this little balance annotation right here, I can see that it was sent to my farm balance. So you can use any combination of these assets. So for example, if later I want to redeposit, it's good to go. All right, let's see what I want to show next. So I'm going to head over to the field. More or less the field is very similar in structure to the silo. You've got the sow, harvest, and send tabs here, and a list of your pods, plots with the total number of pods here at the bottom. The barn is more or less the same as what you can see on app.bean.money right now, with the exception of this rinse tab, which is now allows you to rinse your fertilized sprouts and also send those to your farm balance or to your wallet. The farmers market has been more or less like completely overhauled to be fast and flexible. So we'll have a lot more updates coming here as well. On this page right here, you'll see a list of all active pod listings and pod orders, which you can quickly buy from or sell to using an interface like this. It's also fast to create a pod order or a pod listing just by clicking this Create New button here in the top right. I'm going to go ahead and make a pod listing just as an example. So let's pick this plot. I'll start selling the whole thing. 99 cents. Set an expiry. You can choose where the proceeds go when somebody buys some of my pods. And also if I want to choose what region of the plot to sell, for example, I can just pop under here under advanced and select a range. So go ahead and just create this listing. If I want to view the listing, they're easy to find now. It's just under My Orders and Listings. I'll head to the Listing tab and I can see that listing I just created right here, along with the progress of how much the listing has sold. So if you want to keep track of, if somebody buys part of the listing, it's right here. If I change my mind about selling these pods, I can just hop over to this page and cancel. The analytics page brings back pretty much all of the charts that we all know and love from before with a nice new UI. So this is kind of our standard chart UI now. So I can hover and see the value at any point in time, group data points by season or by day if I want to look at a bunch of data, or roll back in time for 1 week, 1 month, or all time. So you'll also notice how fast this data loaded. It's actually because thanks to some of the upgrades to the subgraph, we can now cache a lot of this data in your browser. So whenever you load price data historically, we'll kind of save it and make it really fast to load next time. For all of the BeaNFT people out there, we've got an awesome new BeaNFTs page where you can come to view all of your currently owned NFTs and mint ones that you haven't minted yet. Okay, I know I've been talking for a bit. A few more things left to show, and we can wrap up and happy to answer any questions as well. So if you're looking for the balances page, that's now nested here under the wallet button. You can also use a keyboard shortcut for any of these pages, as well as the balances page. So I think the keyboard shortcut for this right now is Option D. So I'll go ahead and press that. And I'm here on the balances page. So this page shows a breakdown of all the different categories of assets that you have in Beanstalk, as well as your stock, seeds, and pods and sprouts here at the bottom. And if I hover over a category, I can get a cool little breakdown of how much of each asset I have. Let's see. Last, I want to show the forecast page. So the idea of the forecast page is to give you a quick snapshot into the state of Beanstalk at a high level. So we've shown the time-weighted average price here, the pod rate, liquidity, and the total amount deposited. And we'll update this page with more metrics as time goes on. For peg maintenance and price, you can find those up here, again, top left. The price button here will show you all of the different pools and the current delta B for different pools. And this, we're calling this the sun button, but if you want to look inside recent seasons, see when the next season is going to hit, or look at past seasons data, that's all available here. So I think last but not least, I know one of the things we found surprising previously was just how many farmers were using Beanstalk on mobile. And mobile was just not something that we prioritized previously on the website. So in redesigning, this new website, we've made mobile a first-class citizen. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you a demo here of kind of what mobile looked like. But all of these pages are mobile-friendly. The website loads on mobile. It loads even if you don't have a wallet connected. So you can use Safari or whatever on your phone, or connect through MetaMask. And all of this should behave exactly as you expect. So all of the forms work and that kind of thing. Cool. Okay. I've talked to everybody for like 20 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there, but happy to answer any questions. So J-Dubs, I don't know if you've been keeping an eye out for those.
Yeah, I think so. Well, one, Silo, amazing. This is incredibly exciting. Yeah, it's fantastic. But Jams asked a question which I think was kind of addressed, but maybe you can address it as well. Saying, what's the difference between the farm balance versus the wallet? If you deposit into the farm balance, are the tokens still within the Bean protocol?
Yeah, so great question. So what we call your wallet balance or circulating balance is assets that you can find, for example, if you pull up your wallet in MetaMask or any wallet that you have. Yeah, it's just stuff that any ERC20 token that's sent to your address. So those tokens will behave exactly as you've seen on any other site. Beanstalk also is capable of maintaining its own internal balance of any token. And this is part of what enables the farm functionality to be simple and gas efficient. So for example, when I make a withdrawal, I can choose to have the assets sent to my wallet if I want them, or I can send them into Beanstalk and keep them within Beanstalk. Previously, we also supported this functionality. For example, if you wanted to do something like harvest and deposit, that was possible. So, and Beanstalk is kind of maintaining those beans for you internally. The trick is that in any transaction that uses farm balances or circulating balances, you can basically cobble those two together into one transaction to save gas. So if I had some beans that were in my farm balance, I had some beans that were in my circulating balance, I can use both of those at the same time to deposit.
Okay.
Let me know if that didn't make sense, James.
Okay. No, I think that was great. Yeah, James, if you have any follow-up, just let us know. So Guilfoyle asked if APYs are going to come back at some point, and Sweet Red addressed it, saying that they're mocked up, but I don't know if there's anything else that you have to add to that.
No, that's spot on. So they'll probably appear right here next to rewards, but stay tuned on that.
Chad, can you show us how to pick our assets and also how to chop unripe assets?
Yeah, great question. So up here in the top right, you'll click the wallet button and you'll see pick and chop. So when Beanstalk first replants, this will probably be the first screen that you head to pick your unripe assets. So you can go ahead and just run through this workflow to do that. When you pick, you can either pick assets to your wallet or pick and deposit them. So that will just deposit them straight to the silo. And then for chopping unripe assets, here on the chop page, you can see both unripe assets here, unripe bean and unripe bean 3 curve. And then if you have circulating balances of those, so for example, I would need to withdraw from the silo first. Once I make the withdrawal and claim, I'll have some assets here that I can go ahead and chop. Currently, because the season's only one season beyond, the chop penalty is 100%, but as time goes on, that will change.
And I see the chop penalty will be shown.
Yes, shown right here when you make this chopping transaction.
Great. And Silo, will we? One thing that I was thinking about in the past is any of the data from the analytics going to be can we export any of that, or is it going to be static via the subgraph that's on the site?
Yeah, so all of the data that's used in these charts is accessible through the subgraph. For those of you who aren't familiar, the subgraph basically scans over events that Beanstalk emits on Ethereum and compiles them into a format that's easier to access. And so anybody can go and pull that raw data. The format it's in is called JSON, but that could be converted, for example, into a spreadsheet or something else if you wanted. So that's not supported by the site, but you could do that using other tools.
Okay, great.
Sweet. Any other questions here? Cool. I guess last thing, so in terms of rolling this out, the updates to the site, currently there's a version live that lets people access the barn raise, as well as some other, like viewing your old Beanstalk assets. This update will come out once replant begins. So stay tuned and just let me know if you have any questions in the UI feedback channel.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, Silo, I think the praise that's coming in obviously is on point. It's fantastic, and I think we're all thrilled for this to go live, and obviously just phenomenal work. It looks so good, and yeah, it's great.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, excited to get this thing shipped. So soon.
Cool. Well, I'm sure other people will have questions as we progress through this. We can keep asking those in class or during the DAO meetings. If there are any other questions right now that anyone has, feel free to drop them real quick. Otherwise, on that note, I think we can call it.
I can foresee the questions, and then everyone like DM Silo chat.
Yeah, so I guess in preparation.
Please, everyone DM Silo Chad directly with your questions.
Okay. I don't see any. I mean, Benedict, I think you're typing something. Maybe it's an emoji for Silo, but I think we're good to call it there. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.